So the first thing you're going to want to do is clear an area that's big enough that you're not going to light anything else on fire. And if you feel anxious, it's always good to have a boundary. You can use stumps, something, or rocks, or even a big metal grate like that one over there.
The next step is to gather small brush or flammable items to get the small sticks going. As you can see here, we used leaves. Leaves work, newspaper, dry grass, anything dry and thin will usually work to get a fire going.
So next step, after you get a good solid dry base, what you're going to want to do is get a bunch of little sticks, small enough that the leaves can light them on fire. And you're going to want to place them on top just so that when the leaves are burning, they set these on fire as well.
The next step is to put medium sticks on top of the small sticks. That way, the small sticks that are already previously lit by the leaves can light the medium sticks on fire, which will move us on into our next step.
Once you got the big sticks on, what you're going to want to do is next step is to light the fire itself. So go to the most flammable part of the fire, which are the leaves, and try and light it in multiple spots if you can. If you want to get real technical, what you can do is follow where the wind is going. And if you see the direction it's going, light it at the most front of the wind so it carries through the fire. If it's having trouble starting, one tip you can do is lightly blow and try and increase the airflow.
There you go. As you can see, we got the medium sticks lit. So the next job is to add larger pieces of wood. We call these logs. The purpose of log is to keep the fire going throughout the night for longer amounts of time. Medium sticks, small sticks, and the leaves go out pretty fast. Logs take longer to burn out. A smart way to do this is to spread it all around the fire, not just one side, but watch your fingers, but go on the other side of it too. Strategically, if you want to spread out the fire more, you can put the logs out like this a little bit. And if you want the fire closer together, you can put them up more vertically like this.
Now that you got your fire going, take advantage of the fire. The fire is a beautiful place to take advantage and talk about your emotions in a safe environment.
This is called emotional contagion. It's the phenomenon when one person's emotions are kind of similar and can directly relate to the person around them.
That's a good point. Due to the fact that the environment around a campfire is a safe place, talking about your emotions is an okay thing, even the negative ones. And today we're going to talk about the fallacies of negative emotions or irrational thinking.
The first fallacy is the fallacy of perfection. This one causes people to be depressed because they're unable to perfect their needs and wants. This also relates to the fallacy of approval. This is when people put other people's needs and wants before their own because they're unable to see what they need.
The fallacy of shoulds. This is a what-if statement, better known as a what-if statement. Basically, it means you have to take responsibility for the action that you chose and know that you made the right one. Nothing is going to be ideal, and the past is in the past. The one after that one is the fallacy of overgeneralization. You know, never say never, and base your beliefs off of the limited amount of info that's given.
The next fallacy is the fallacy of causation. For example, if his emotions were down and his energy levels were low, I would typically match his behavior and do the same thing. Talk quietly, be shy, maybe be a little bit depressed. I would match his energy. The next fallacy is the fallacy of hopelessness, meaning I'm always the victim. I'm always hopeless. I don't really take initiative. I always play the victim, no matter what. This leads us to our final fallacy, which is the fallacy of catastrophic expectations, meaning to always expect the worst from every situation and event.
The best way to understand your negative emotions is to first off realize that you have negative emotions. Understanding these fallacies of negative emotions or irrational thinking will put you on track to making yourself emotionally happier.